The Earth, a vast, spinning sphere that we all know to be round. But not everyone throughout history has agreed with this simple truth. For centuries, the belief in a flat Earth has persisted, influencing societies, cultures, and even shaping the course of history. Today we'll explore the history of flat earthers, from ancient civilizations to the modern-day conspiracy theorists. Long before modern science, humans had a different way of understanding the world. Ancient civilizations from Mesopotamia to Egypt were aware that the Earth was not a flat, featureless plane. In fact, the earliest recorded ideas about the shape of the Earth were often surprisingly accurate. The ancient Babylonians believed in a flat, disc-shaped Earth, surrounded by a vast ocean. The ancient Greeks, however, were some of the first to offer evidence for a spherical Earth. In the 6th century BCE, philosopher Pythagoras proposed that the Earth was a sphere, a theory later supported by Aristotle's observations of stars and ships disappearing over the horizon. The Greek philosopher Aristophanes even calculated the Earth's circumference with remarkable accuracy in the 3rd century BCE. By the time of the Roman Empire, the spherical nature of the Earth was widely accepted by intellectuals. But the belief in a flat Earth did not vanish completely. During the Middle Ages in Europe, many people still believed the Earth was flat. This was not necessarily due to ignorance or lack of education, but rather the influence of religious doctrine, cultural beliefs, and a lack of widespread scientific evidence. In medieval Christianity, the idea of a flat Earth persisted, largely influenced by early Christian teachings. The concept was tied to interpretations of the Bible, which some believed described a flat Earth. However, even in this era, educated scholars like the Venerable Bede accepted the Earth's spherical shape. It wasn't until the Age of Exploration in the 15th and 16th centuries that the spherical Earth theory became irrefutable. As explorers like Christopher Columbus and Ferdinand Magellan sailed around the globe, the idea of a flat Earth began to diminish in Western thought. But surprisingly, the flat Earth theory didn't disappear entirely. Fast forward to the 19th century, when the rise of modern science and technology gave birth to new theories and new forms of skepticism. In the 1840s, a man named Samuel Rowbotham published a book titled Zetetic Astronomy, Earth, Not a Globe. Rowbotham argued that the Earth was flat and that conventional science had misled people. His arguments were based on personal observations and interpretations of physical phenomena, such as how objects appeared on the horizon. Rowbotham's ideas sparked a revival of flat Earth belief, particularly in certain religious and fringe circles. By the late 1800s, flat Earth societies had formed, advocating for the rejection of mainstream scientific consensus. While these ideas were largely dismissed by the scientific community, they never fully disappeared. In the early 20th century, the rise of aviation and space travel should have put a final nail in the coffin of the flat Earth theory. Yet, the advent of new technologies and media platforms also provided new avenues for these fringe beliefs to grow. In the 1950s and 1960s, as mankind took to the skies and space exploration advanced, more and more evidence of a round Earth became irrefutable. Satellites captured images of Earth from space, and astronauts saw the curve of the Earth with their own eyes. Yet, despite this overwhelming evidence, flat Earth proponents doubled down on their beliefs. The formation of the International Flat Earth Research Society in 1956, led by Charles K. Johnson, marked the first formal organized movement for the flat Earth believers in the modern era. Johnson and others actively promoted the idea that space exploration was a hoax and the Earth was actually a flat, immovable plane. As the 21st century dawned, the flat Earth theory seemed to be a relic of the past until the internet came along. With the rise of online platforms, conspiracy theories began to spread faster than ever. In the 2010s, social media gave flat earthers a new platform to connect, share their ideas, and recruit new believers. Today, the flat Earth movement has been revitalized, with new generation of flat earthers arguing that evidence like NASA's photographs of Earth are fabricated. They question the very nature of science itself and often point to what they believe are inconsistencies or misleading data, in mainstream scientific disclosure. Flat Earth conventions, podcasts, and social media accounts continue to thrive. Believers argue that the Earth's curvature is an illusion and that gravity is a myth. They call themselves truth seekers and see their efforts as part of a larger fight against what they perceive as a global conspiracy. The Flat Earth movement continues to have several prominent proponents who actively promote its beliefs through various platforms. Let's take a look at them. Mark Sargent, an American conspiracy theorist. Sargent is known for his Flat Earth Clues video series on YouTube, which has significantly contributed to the modern Flat Earth movement. He was prominently featured in the 2018 documentary, Behind the Curve.
Not because we can't prove it's a globe. Everything that in fact, it starts out with everybody that's in the Flat Earth community starts out looking at the globe saying, can you prove it?
Bob Knodel, co-host of Globebusters YouTube channel. Knodel has conducted various experiments attempting to provide evidence for a flat Earth. He was also featured in Behind the Curve.
Recently, we carried out an experiment to test the rotation to the Earth. If the Earth is spinning at one rotation every 24 hours, that means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees. And if the gyroscope is mounted anywhere on Earth, it's going to drift. In today's 21st century navigation systems, they're using what's called a ring laser gyroscope. It is extremely precise. If we could simply get one of these ring laser gyroscopes, we would be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth. One of the people in the community actually purchased one for $20,000. But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15 degree per hour drift. Now, obviously we were taken aback by that. Wow, that's kind of a problem, right?
Patricia Steer, host of Podcastic, Flat Earth, and Other Hot Potatoes. Steer has been an active figure in the Flat Earth community, engaging in discussions and interviews to promote Flat Earth ideas.
Photos of the Earth from space.
Completely and utterly false.
Is the sun 93 million miles away?
No, the sun is not as far away as we've been told, nor is the moon. They're probably about the same size.
How about those photos of the astronauts who look like they're floating around on the space station?
Completely fake. Harnesses, wires.
Did we really go to the moon?
No, we didn't go to the moon, and we don't have a rover on Mars, and we didn't do a flyby of Pluto, and we've never been to space. Period. End of.
Duran Campanella, creator of the YouTube channel Duranism. Campanella has been a vocal advocate for flat Earth theories. Notably in December of 2024, after participating in an expedition to Antarctica to observe the 24-hour sun, he publicly acknowledged that this phenomenon challenged his previous beliefs.
Sometimes you are wrong in life. And I thought that there was no 24-hour sun. In fact, I was pretty sure of it. But I respect Will Duffy for being a stand-up guy, at least in the way that he kept saying it was true. I kept saying it wasn't. He said, "Do you want to go? I'll take you," and brought me here. And it's a fact. The sun does circle you in the south. It seems like the moon does circle here as well. So start thinking about that as well. It doesn't mean that AEMAP is over, Flat Earth is over. Maybe somebody's got the answer. I don't have that answer.
Mad Mike Hughes. A daredevil and self-taught engineer, Hughes gained attention for his attempts to launch himself in a homemade rocket to observe Earth's shape firsthand. Tragically, he died in a rocket crash in February 2020.
I expect to see a flat disk up there. I don't have an agenda. If it's a round Earth or a ball, I'm going to come down and say, "Hey, guys, I'm bad. It's a ball."
These individuals, among others, have utilized platforms like YouTube, podcasts, and conferences to disseminate flat Earth theories, contributing to the movement's persistence in contemporary disclosure. We've just heard from 5 passionate advocates of the flat Earth theory, each presenting their unique arguments and perspectives. Despite their firm beliefs, the overwhelming consensus among the scientific community remains that the Earth is indeed round. To help us understand why, we turn to Professor Brian Cox, a renowned physicist and science communicator. With his deep knowledge and engaging approach, Professor Cox will shed a light on the evidence that supports the spherical nature of our planet.
There is absolutely no basis at all for thinking the world is flat. Nobody in human history, as far as I know, has thought the world was flat. The Greeks measured the radius of the Earth. I cannot conceive of a reason why anybody would think that the world is flat. There are interesting bits of physics that tell you that you live on a spinning planet. One of them is called the Coriolis force, which is the force that's responsible for causing storm systems to rotate on the planet. So when you see those beautiful pictures of storms spinning around and rotating, the reason for that is that we live on a spinning planet. So but there's some nice physics in there actually, if you want to dig more deeply. Putting all that aside, the theoretical stuff, the very simple fact that we've taken pictures of it, you see, I'm lost for words. It's probably the most nonsensical suggestion that a thinking human being could possibly make. It is drivel. So why does gravity sculpt things into spheres? Well, the first thing to say is that it doesn't necessarily. If I pick up a snowball, it's not spherical, kind of an irregular shape. As I start adding mass to it, that gravitational pull becomes bigger. So I'll get to a point where this snowball will be so massive that the gravitational pull on its surface would be so strong that it would start to squash the material out of which it's made. In this case, snow, or in the case of a planet or moon, the rock. Now you could ask the question, how much matter do I need for gravity to get strong enough to start overcoming the strength of rock and sculpting things into spheres? Well, that minimum size has got a name. It's a brilliant name. It's called the potato radius. You can see why, because things that are too small for gravity to be strong enough to sculpt them look like kind of misshapen potatoes. The great thing is you don't even need to imagine it. You can calculate it. I did that this morning and I got an answer, just roughly between 100 and 200 kilometres. The brilliant thing, the most beautiful thing, was if you look up into space and look at the moons of Mars and Saturn and Jupiter and objects out there in the solar system, you will find that, roughly speaking, if their radius is bigger than about 200 kilometres, they're beautiful spheres. And if the radius is less than about 200 kilometres, they look more like misshapen potatoes.
Despite centuries of evidence pointing to the spherical nature of the Earth, the flat Earth theory endures. For some, it's a symbol of defiance against mainstream ideas. For others, it's an outgrowth of skepticism or a distrust of authority. And so, the flat Earth debate persists, a curious chapter in the ongoing story of human curiosity, belief, and the search for truth. While science continues to unravel the mysteries of our world, one thing remains clear. The Earth is round, no matter how many flat earthers may argue otherwise.